So 7. So Curtis Rourke's number 7 for you. For me, it's Will Howard from Ohio State. I hated having him ahead of Shuck. We'll talk about Shuck in a minute here, but um, he grew on me because that's how he played this season, right? He kind of grew as a player, I thought, and then goes on this playoff run. And look, we're not talking about QB wins here necessarily, but what I liked about Will Howard, we talk about the adversity aspect of things. I thought he was very consistent at Kansas State. I thought he was going to hold back Ohio State's offense the same way Kyle McCord did. I really thought coming into the year that was a lateral move for Ohio State. Kyle McCord is better than Will Howard, and I just ranked him higher than Will Howard, so I still kind of believe it. And Will Howard went out there and answered a lot of questions. Now, the difference, Ohio State brought back, I don't know how many players are going to get drafted, but they've got like 15 players in the day 2 mix here. This team is loaded, more loaded than they were in 2023. Then they added Jeremiah Smith, who looks like a year 5 NFL elite receiver as a freshman. So the talent was incredible on this team. But I thought Will Howard, he's got his quirks, man. I mean, he throws some hospital balls over the middle. He'll misread coverages. He's very, very high throw it over the middle. We used to talk about Cam Newton being calibrated high. Will Howard has that. He kind of throws uphill over the middle. But I thought he fixed some of that stuff as the year went on. So he's got this development arc that is intriguing. And then the mental aspect of this, his ability to bounce back from a Michigan game, which was awful, go on this playoff run, like that means a little something. And then I think having that talent around him made him more aggressive. And he just said, let's go. Let's give these guys a chance to play. He had a nice deep ball, improved his touch on that. So I think we see this development arc of Will Howard that it makes him an intriguing backup option. Hey guys, just taking a quick break to tell you, hey, just over 50% of you are still unsubscribed to Check the Mic. It helps the channel. It helps to make sure that you don't miss any of our shows. So if you have a chance, hit the subscribe button right now.
We talk all the time about human beings are like hardwired to pattern match and to see trends when trends don't necessarily exist, right? So, 4-game sample size, you're like, oh, this means, look at this, it's trending up, right? And reality, it might just be noise. So players that have that nice, neat narrative scare the crap out of me, especially when they're in small sample size. And Howard has got that. He's the one that frustrated me the most because I don't know what to do with his kind of career arc. So he got better every single year, right? Albeit, maybe incremental steps, but like got better every year, was playing his best football late in his final year and had arguably the best game of his entire college career in the national title game, right? Like if you were drawing up what you would want it to look like, that's what you would want it to look like. Got better all the way, was playing your best football at the end of your career, and then literally hit your peak for the national title game, the biggest game you've ever played, right? That's perfect.
And we talked about this with CJ Stroud a couple years ago ad nauseum, where it wasn't just, I mean, that was like different level, his best game, but it was one game against Georgia. And the last thing we saw, and we kept saying, how much do you weigh that? With Will Howard, it's kind of a 4-game stretch in the national title game, the Oregon game and especially the Notre Dame game, where it's 3rd and 11, the season's on the line. Ohio State almost blew it, and he throws this absolute dime to Jeremiah Smith to seal the season. And there was other points during the year. Penn State, he has a bad pick 6 early in the game. He ends up being the guy that bounces back and, a couple runs to seal that game. All the way along the way, other than the Oregon game where he slid too early and, that game management wasn't great there. He bounced back from a lot of adversity, and did it in a 4-game stretch on the playoff run for Ohio State.
I mean, Chip Kelly is his coach at Ohio State. Chip Kelly is now offensive coordinator for the Raiders. I can't think of a better combination, than reuniting them in the mid rounds there and putting, excuse me, I'm like about to sneeze and trying to stave it off. Been putting Will Howard back together with Chip Kelly for the Raiders and like a mid round draft pick. We keep talking about they're not necessarily out of the quarterback market because they traded for Geno Smith. I mean, maybe they are in the first round, but what if they could come back in the mid rounds and grab Will Howard and pair him back up with his college coach who theoretically, developed him and got him playing his best football late in his final season. Like that's just a perfect match.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think, and that's another one where the coaches were saying, you can't say enough good things about Will Howard. Bouncing back from Michigan, coming into this situation, high pressure environment. high pressure environment where this was literally national title or bust, right? You're talking about Ryan Day, as head coach, having his job on the line if they only lost 2 games or 3 games, and one of which was against Michigan, and they went on the title run. So he's a good runner, but he's also got those clunky Daniel Jones, like he tripped like Daniel Jones in the Texas game on his way to the end zone. He's a viable runner. He does get this toolsy label because he's big and can run. I think his arm's worse than Dylan Gabriel's, as I've said before. So I don't think he zips it that well, but he's got a nice deep ball. Improve the touch on that. Sometimes it's too flat. Other times he puts more air under it. So he's one of those guys that's like a lot of, this is good, yeah, but that's bad. This is good, yeah, but that's bad. And that's a developmental type of player and trending in the right direction, as you said.
Yeah. So I mean, I have him at 9. He's the next guy on my list after we both had Tyler Shook at 8.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.